Hi, this is Meg Bowen, and you are listening to Liner Notes Radio, a music business radio program set in Baltimore, broadcasting live every Monday from Hotel RL. Tonight we have with us a great local talent. His name is Chris Hamilton, and he is the frontman, principal songwriter for Radiation Puppy, which you can check out online at radiationpuppy.com. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hi, Meg. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So on our show, we talk about the music business, and that goes from the artists who are out there writing their songs, trying to get booked at venues, and going to the next level, recording their music, selling it online. We go through the whole process here, and time management is definitely like a skill that you need as a musician. How do you best handle time management skills as far as organizing your schedule as a musician between day work that you may have and your band? How many people, first off, Radiation Puppy, how many people do you have in your band?
So there's 4 of us, including myself, so there are 4 of us total. And we've contemplated for a while adding a 5th. We were at one point a 6-piece band.
Wow.
We've varied in size from over the past 20 years,
Yeah.
19 years about.
I was going to ask how long you guys have been touring.
Yeah, 98, from 98 until, so 19
Present.
years.
Of the band members you have now, how many are original members?
You're looking at them.
That's an honest answer.
Yeah. But no, Mandy's played with me on and off for years, and so has Fuso. So, I mean...
What instruments does everybody cover in the band?
So with our lineup right now, I play bass and I sing. Mandy sings and plays guitar. Fuso plays pianos, keyboards, and our new drummer Troy plays drums. So
wonderful. And you said that you guys have been around almost 20 years.
Yeah, 19 years.
Doesn't feel like it. Yeah.
It when I say it out loud, it bothers me.
Oh, that's funny because one of the songs on your new album is called 19 Again. So there you go. It's like a time machine.
I was younger than 19 when I when I started Radiation Puppy. So that's what's funny.
Well, and I wanted to give our viewers a little bit background on you. When did you first start playing, and what was your first instrument?
So my first instrument was piano.
Piano, okay.
I probably started playing piano when I was about 10 years old.
Did you take lessons, or did you self-teach
Yeah.
yourself?
So when I was young, I always wanted to be a drummer.
Oh.
Like, that was the thing. I wanted to play the drums.
Did you have a favorite drummer as a child?
No.
Yeah,
I had
you just thought it would be
cool. It was cool. Animal was probably my favorite drummer. Animal from
Muppets.
Yeah.
He is a great inspiration for many.
So my parents were like, no, my parents had a beautiful baby grand piano in their house. So, like, you have to play the piano.
Wow.
So I took 3 years lessons. I had to be about, 4th or 5th grade. How old are you then? 10, 9, 10, somewhere like that.
9, 10.
It was about 9 or 10. I took a couple years of piano, and then I was like, enough of that. Then at a point, I guess I had to be about 13 years old. My dad had an old guitar that just sat there, and he would strum it every once in a while, but it was just there. And so I was like, I wanted to everybody wants to be a rock star, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I started playing the guitar, and eventually I got an electric guitar, and I started playing. Then I guess I was about 17. The guitar I had, it broke. Like, so the neck on it broke. I had to go to the shop to get it fixed. So I was without a guitar. So then I went back to the piano and started playing and composing on the piano. And then I moved on from there. And then I bought myself a drum set.
I was gonna say, did you ever get your guitar fixed?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
I did get a drum. I eventually got a drum kit.
Did you practice every day? Did you make time every day to practice? Because I think some people just starting out, they don't know how much you have to put into it to get back out as a musician.
No.
You just played when you had the time.
I probably did play every day because I wanted to. Like, it wasn't like, I gotta put time to practice. I mean, every once in a while I would do that, right? Every once in a while I would take time and say, I should learn some different things. But more of that was when I was older, once I was in bands and I was playing in groups, and I was like, how can I be better?
Yeah.
How can I I should learn blues scales. I should learn different things.
So you wanted to be better to contribute to the other musicians around you, so that you guys could jam, sort of? Or?
The funny part is no. At a point, I don't know when I made this realization that I always wanted to be just a good enough player so that I could essentially tell other people what I wanted to do for my own songs. Like, I was a songwriter first and everything else second.
Oh.
So I was like, I need to, it was in my mid-20s, and I was, I started taking violin lessons, right?
Wow.
And mostly because I was writing scores. I was writing scores and pieces of music, and I was like, I need to be able to talk.
You wanted to be able to speak in the voice of the violin?
Exactly.
So you're a multi-instrumentalist.
So yeah, I play. I feel like I play a bunch of instruments average.
Give us the rundown. So you started with piano and guitar.
Started with piano, then I played guitar. I guess then I started playing bass guitar, right? Then I started playing drums. I mean, I guess in there I'd play harmonica, things like that, and then violin.
Violin
so
and xylophone too.
Oh, I did. You're right. I'm on a record playing xylophone now that you mention it. So I forgot all about that. But yeah.
And then with singing, did that come naturally, or did you have to do vocal coaching?
So Mandy in my band, I remember a time where, I would just sing, but we were recording our first record. I sat down with Mandy, and it was just like not sounding good in the studio. And she was like, "Look, all right, let me teach you some things about singing." It was, so I always joke. I was like, "Oh, well, Mandy taught me how to sing."
Right. Aw.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So let's see here. After getting your musical instrumental skills chopped, getting strong on pretty much every instrument.
I wouldn't say strong.
When did you first decide you wanted to put your music together and play in a band capacity?
Oh, when I was 13. Like
13?
I wasn't strong as a musician. It was like.
But you had the desire.
Oh yeah, I wanted to be.
Collaborate.
Yeah, that was like what was fun. It was me and my friend Brian Cunningham. I'll tag him in this post. We would just sit around and play guitar. He played guitar and I played guitar, and we wanted to be in a band.
Wow.
Like, it was fun. Like, I wanted to write, and we wrote songs and like.
So in your first band, it was 2 people?
Well, we started with 2. And then his cousin played drums.
Okay.
So then we were like, it was like 3 of us, right? So it's called Playground.
Playground?
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable. Did you guys play any shows anywhere?
Yeah. We played at like.
What was your first show? Do you remember?
I do. I'm almost reluctant to say the date because that'll.
That's
date
okay.
me.
You can just say the venue.
I will say it was April 4th, 1997.
Wow. Okay.
It was in St. Joseph's Elementary. Siri's talking to me?
Yeah.
There we go. It was St. Joseph's Elementary School, and they had like a fair, right?
Sorry, technology.
Siri's interrupting you. St. Joseph's Elementary School, and it was like a fair, and there was like a bunch of bands, and I don't know. It was. Here's what I remember though. There's the one thing I remember. So I'm generally not nervous when I play. I say I never have been, but I was so nervous.
Oh,
like
wow.
more than like.
Did you shake? I shook the first time I played.
I was just nervous leading up to it. Once I started playing,
felt natural.
It was fine.
That's
now
great.
I've been nervous at gigs for other reasons after that. I've been nervous at gigs because I wasn't prepared. I've been nervous at gigs because I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to get paid right?
Yeah,
like,
that's a big
for
part.
a lot of reasons having nothing to do with being in front of people and playing music. Like,
And then at those gigs where that was happening, once you got on the mic, were you fine? Because I was going to say, do you have any advice for people out there who have anxiety before they go play?
Practice?
Yeah.
I remember doing a gig for a while we were playing R&B. And I remember doing this gig, and it was early on. I just felt like I wasn't confident of the material, like I didn't know it, and I was just literally there were 4 people in the crowd, and I was so nervous because I was like I just wasn't confident of the material that I was supposed to play. Another time I was scared. I was like, okay, we booked a show, and the band that was opening for us like substantially outdrew us. Like we drew a good crowd and they drew a great crowd. So I was nervous that the people were going to leave. So it was like a completely different kind of nervous. I was nervous for reasons that had nothing to do with
You're performing.
being in front of people. Like, and it really didn't matter if it was 10 people or 1 million people. It like, I mean, I've never played a show for 1 million people, but I've played a show for hundreds of people. You know, I played big outdoor festivals where there's hundreds and hundreds of people, and like, it's like.
Right. You didn't have that tension.
No, I haven't had that. Yeah. So I don't know. Some people, I talk to people that it's never been a thing for me. I don't know.
When you've been out and you're playing a live show, do you have any interesting stories that came up, something like a problem while you're on stage that you had to creatively handle, whether it was someone's instrument cutting out or someone gets up on stage who shouldn't be there? Have you ever had any interesting experiences?
I mean, like, that's like a weekly thing.
Weekly thing.
I mean, every gig I play, there's like something like that. I mean, I'm trying to think. I had a situation where, so for a while, and other musicians will probably attest to this, right? So
Sure.
you've got gear, and does your gear work all the time? Sometimes not. Do I have the money to fix my gear? Maybe not, right? So I would be backstage with a soldering iron, soldering my bass before I played.
I've never heard anyone mention that. That's amazing.
And it was okay. I was doing a game, and so I bring a spare bass too.
That's smart. If you can afford to have a second instrument, back up.
I was lucky that I had one. Which is also a funny story. The bass that I play, if you see me play, is actually Mandy's bass. That was
really.
It was that I borrowed once, like 15 years ago.
Borrowed, yes.
Never get back.
It's one of those long-term library bass books that you just get to keep renewing the subscription to. Yeah.
Sorry, where's the sorry?
No, she's probably proud that it's getting good use.
I'd like to think so. I hope so. But I had another bass too. It didn't sound as good. It was a lot, and so we're doing a few songs that medley together. So there's really no break, stop, change, to change instruments. Right before the last song in the medley, the bass cuts out. The other bass the spare bass actually falls right down on my. So it's like I'm holding it up. It's on.
You can demonstrate.
I can't stand up. I don't know if the people at home can see. It falls right down onto my leg, so it's holding. So it's like I can't move.
You're playing and holding a bass up behind you,
right?
Wow.
And then literally, we stop, and there's like a 4 count in between that. I don't know. So I pop one off and pop one on, and then right back into it I go. So, but it just hit. Yeah.
The only thing that's ever happened to me during a live performance is my glasses started sliding down my nose, so I headbutt them off of me because it was more of a distraction and in my way. And it's just, and everybody's like, rock and roll.
I mean, once I remember playing this gig, it was outside, and it was like, I don't know, like had to be like 100 and some degrees, no shade, and I was like, I'm going to pass out. So then it was like, don't pass out. I was like, I'm going to ruin the show if I pass out. Like, I just need to keep going and not pass out. But I've had people come on stage. That's like a regular thing.
So playing out in the elements has been interesting too. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up the first segment, taking this look at Chris Hamilton's musical career and the early start of it. Please stay tuned to Liner Notes Radio. I'm Meg B, and this is Chris Hamilton. He's our wonderful guest joining us live from Hotel RL in Baltimore, Maryland.
Thank you.
Okay, great. We're on commercial break. Hi, Facebook Live. How's everybody doing? Thank you for tuning in. Our co-host Michelle is sick tonight, just as a personal note to you guys at home. All right, and then do you need more water? Bathroom break?
I'm good.
And, if you could keep your screen on.
It doesn't. It can't stay on.
Yeah, I lost my stopwatch, so thank you for keeping time.
It was a little.
This camera stopped recording on that.
I could. Well, here's the thing. I could timer it, but then it'll beep when we're done. Do you not want that?
Is there a way to keep your screen on?
No, there is not.
Oh, okay. I can just tap it occasionally, and I'll
Yeah.
keep track with my.
Or I can,
watch
if you
too.
want to, I'll occasionally tap it.
You sure? I
Because-
don't want you to have to worry about a thing while we're.
Aw.
Yeah, no. You're
So-
our guest.
Well, here's the thing. When we come back, do we want to like say? I mean, when you lead me to a break, do you want to say, "Hey, let's listen to a song from"? And
Yes.
then like
Yeah. Do you want to take a moment to tune up your guitar in case you want to play a
Okay.
song in the next segment or two?
Sure.
Yeah, we've got time because this is how we're doing it. Yes.
I'm just thinking of something.
Sure. Yeah, this is the time for critiquing.
I don't have a tuner with me.
Oh, do you want to use your phone?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, here's what I was thinking. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if this makes sense. Like,
Just play a couple
like, we
songs
went
at
to-
the end, or
Well, so we went to break. I thought we would like say, "Hey, going to break, like, play a song, like, hey, let's play, like."
let's listen to this song from. That's what we usually do if I'm hooked into the system.
Oh, okay.
So my mind's not thinking that way for the second.
Okay.
But I'll do that for all the other segments.
Well, why don't we say, "Hey"?
And I can welcome in.
Welcome in.
Yeah.
Welcome in with the song.
And you were just listening to
Yeah.
Emma by Chris
Yeah.
Hansen. So yeah, that's what I'll do for the future breaks.
I don't have a pick here. Do you have a pick?
Yes, I have a pick from Amoeba Music in California.
Hey, do you want me to stop listening to what?
You can let it go. So I can just get the live audio from it, and then we don't have to retype in everything. Oh, well, let's see.
Was that good stuff?
Thanks for staying tuned. We're just taking a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Hold on, I gotta be careful. Because usually Michelle breaks it up, but I think that sometimes it's good to keep it going.
Well, this is what I was thinking. My batteries were a little low.
Okay, all right.
How about we keep that segment?
Okay.
We do it quick.
Yeah. Yes, great. Because I want, I like And you were just listening to a track, and that way we can hear the track later. You're just listening to a track off the song on Umbrella. Did I say it wrong? Say it one more time. No, I wanted to make sure I'm saying it right. Phonetically, I usually have this all typed out. Okay, and then you'll just edit that the word. I know what you're saying.
That would kind of like wrap up the whole thing. Or actually, Meg, why don't we do one where you say, "All right, guys, now we'll do a performance by Chris Hamilton, radio by whatever." Cut. And we'll do another one. You say, "All right, guys, I want to thank you all for watching Liner Notes Radio." So like do an ending.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
then we'll see you next time. Or something.
All right,
Just
is that gonna help?
just for this. Just for this.
For that, okay. All right, so I'll let them know. Water now. Everyone at home, you're going to see some behind-the-scenes Liner Notes Radio magic right now while we're recording some video clips for a special project that we're doing. So just stay tuned, and we'll be back to the interview in a few. Okay, so you want me...
It doesn't matter. We can do it either way. You guys can do the interview if you want.
I know what Tim's saying. He just needs me to say something in the camera real quick. I understand that.
You might as well keep going if you want.
Okay, all right. Yeah, then we gotta get our timer guy going.
Okay, you ready
And
for
I'll
it?
keep track on my stopwatch too, or my other watch.
They don't mind us doing this? Are they good?
No,
Okay.
no, this is how it is here.
how it
Isn't it
is.
nice?
Yeah, this is nice.
Do what you want. It's great.
Oh, we're doing laps here. Hold on.
Okay, are we in the shot?
I'm performing as Chris Hamilton from Radiation Puppy.
Yes,
So,
that's how
These
he's...
cameras aren't running anymore.
Okay,
So you're
because your batteries are dying, right now? They should be sharing it too. Everyone at home, please share this video with your friends, friends of Chris Hamilton, friends of Michele McTierney, friends of Liner Notes Radio, and Meg B. Swipe and invite. Did I give you a guitar pick?
Oh, you did.
Okay, I have a backup one
Okay.
too. Okay, first venue play. Okay, so could we? You'd probably prefer
You a union employee?
stand to play guitar. I'm guessing, unless are you comfortable in that chair, or is it weird with the?
I don't know. We haven't. We'll try it for 2 seconds, but like,
Okay.
are we interviewing first? Well, yeah. Why don't we like play at the end?
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll play it.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is then we'll do like 3 segments, and then we can bring you. Bless you. Do you need more water?
Yeah, let's get that.
Here, I've got water right
Oh,
here.
that's fine. No, I like their.
You like our lemon water? Yeah. See, it's a lot of fun for you guys listening at home on Facebook. This is something called a booking sheet, and this has all the information about our guest, including his name, which is his actual name, not a stage name, Chris Hamilton. And radiationpuppy.com is where you can find his music online, as well as at Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube. Are you on iTunes as well?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So Chris is very technologically savvy and accessible.
That's how you have to sell music these days.
Exactly, because not everybody takes you home in CD form anymore.
Meg, anybody can take me home if they want to.
Uh-oh.
I got
Maybe
jokes.
you need a
I got
stage
jokes.
name
I
now.
got jokes today.
Mm-hmm.
Are we?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Can we restart that?
Sure.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, Tim, are you ready? Okay, we're good.
Are we coming back?
Okay.
With what? Call and sick? You can say?
Yeah, we can do that. Let me make a note on that site too.
Let me know before you're ready to start the music.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do music at the end of the segment.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
I'm thinking. Yeah.
We'll do one song to take us out of this segment at the end.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Are you comfy
I am.
playing in this chair?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
On your thing, I'm gonna do mine.
Okay. All right.
Probably not. But
Okay.
these.
We're not back on live yet, so
Okay.
see how you feel. We're testing out the equipment.
I feel like we're boring people at home. People are watching.
No, people at home love seeing how we actually are. Right? People at home, just comment in the section below and we'll be sure to look at this and interact.
I thought there's no quarter inch to go with that.
Oh, hold on 1 sec. There
Yeah,
is.
this is definitely. You know, let's honestly make
Do it at the end.
the end of the whole thing. Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, we do. Let me see.
Yeah, do it at the end. But I don't know what.
You don't have an XL. Oh wait, we do have a quarter inch. Hold on.
When's too late for it though?
There's not too late for it. They have shows. We go up till midnight usually. Yeah, we have time. Yeah, good. That's what we like to hear at Liner Notes Radio. Thank you for coming by, mystery producer. Yeah, okay. I've got quarter inch to XLR, so I can plug you into that DI box maybe. It's a quarter inch to XLR, or I can mic you.
Oh yeah.
I could just mic you.
Oh, you just don't have a quarter inch.
No. See, if I'd known,
If you have a quarter inch XLR, then you're just.
yeah, then I could run you into the main DI. Yeah, I can run you into the line
Run me,
3.
run me into a
Yeah.
line.
Okay. Cool. You need to set that up now in case
No.
we get inspired. We'll do it. Third segment will be your music. Okay.
Yeah, let's do all the interviewing stuff, and then because we'll have to reset from this one.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, there's your microphone. Wonderful. You got enough
Yeah.
water?
I'm good.
You're not parched?
I'm not parched.
That's good.
So we're still
We like to hear.
Still Facebook
Yeah.
living from up there.
And let me see, it's on my phone right here. So, yeah, and for hey Jacob Panic, thanhanks for watching.
Oh, so Jacob Panic's on my new record.
Is he really? Oh,
Yeah,
we
he
can
is.
talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
What's up,
all right.
Jacob? How you doing, bud? I
That-
literally
I
haven't seen him in.
I did have some questions about your recording process, so
Okay.
this way we can promote the new album.
So yeah, so listen.
Hi, welcome back to Liner Notes Radio. I'm one of your co-hosts, Meg B. Michelle couldn't be with us tonight, but we send our regards to her. Right now, in studio, we have a guest. His name is Chris Hamilton, and the song you just heard from the last break was Call In Sick off his latest album called Persona Non Grata. And how did you come up with that name for the album?
That's a good question. So, persona non grata, it's a phrase meaning like those that aren't welcome, and it was a theme that I was having, that it was kind of running through a lot of the songs that I was doing there on the record, but just I felt that it was something that people could identify with, right? Being in a place and not feeling like you belong, being in a place and not
like going to a party and not blending in.
Exactly. So, and that had a lot to do with a lot of the songs, you know, the content of the four songs. I'd originally, the idea, and it still might happen, was that I wanted to sort of break down an album into 3 separate EPs, and each of them I'm going to release digitally, but by the time the third one came out, we would be released in a physical form on a CD.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm going to do that at this point. I don't know.
So there's no CD release yet?
No, it's not.
It'll be.
It's out. It's out in all digital formats.
Spotify,
it's pushed.
iTunes.
It's pushed through radio. It's done all that. I think.
Okay.
There's about 11 or 12 stations around the country that are playing it.
That's wonderful. So, congratulations.
Thank you. But there's not. It's not physical. So we did a show. I don't know, a few weeks back. And they're like, "Oh, we want to buy a CD." I was like, "Yeah." iTunes, go to iTunes.
Okay. Have you ever done those MP3 cards?
No, they look kind of dumb to me. I don't know. I mean, that's just my thought on it. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Okay, so it's just easy for people to go on iTunes, look you up by name.
I think so. They can look at Radiation Puppy.
If they look up Chris Hamilton, will they be able to find you as well? So just Radiation Puppy for everybody listening at home. If you are interested in getting that last song in MP3 version, Call In Sick, make sure you tune in to radiationpuppy.com.
And we did a really great video with Casey Corbett. He did a great job there.
For which song was
the
video?
For Call In Sick. So that's look for it on YouTube. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud how it came out.
How long did it take to record the music video for Call In Sick?
I mean, the actual filming of it probably took, we probably did it in a week, just kind of split up. Maybe it was a couple of weeks. And then Casey did a great job editing. There's animation in it too. So
that's really cool.
That took some time.
Was that your idea, the animation?
Yeah.
Did you have a concept already laid out for the video?
It was actually funny. So,
because we like explaining the process. Because not everybody's made a music video at home. So what do you do? Yeah.
So I had this idea of doing a fully animated video.
Okay.
Which was a great idea until you realize how much a fully animated video costs.
That's a lot of time just for 30 seconds, right?
It is a lot. I mean, if you try to do I had spoken with some artists and I was like, yeah, we'll do it for, we'll give you a deal. We'll do it for $10,000. And I was like, well, no, no,
not in the,
thank
not
you.
in the budget at this time, right?
But no, I was able to connect with Casey, and he really did an excellent job. I said, look, what if instead of doing it fully animated, what if we did it? He said, what if we did it like parts animated? And I was like a little apprehensive first, and we talked. And honestly, how I wanted it to be, I wanted the video. I was like, I put a lot of work into the song. I wanted it to almost be somebody else's vision for the video. I wasn't really, I wanted like veto power over what I wanted the content to be, but I was like, look, I'm open to a good idea as long as it can emotionally connect in the same way that I feel the words and lyrics of the song I wrote did. We came up with a couple different ideas when we were kicking out, and this is mostly his story, and we spoke about this, and I loved it. I loved it. And I loved it when we spoke about it. I was like, this is it. And then the execution of it, he just did a great job. And, there were a lot of other people, too, that worked on the video. they're all credited on YouTube.
And KC, what's his job title or role in this?
He was the director. He was the director of the video.
Does he have a company we could promote?
I don't know.
But if you're interested, contact radiationpuppy.com.
I don't
Call
think
in sick music video. And what's the main line? Isn't it call in sick and we'll both see the sunrise?
Yeah.
That's the main
that is-
line.
that's
The hook to get
See,
you.
and I'm impressed with that because I know we're gonna cut it like you just heard the song, but you didn't just hear the song. So
Yeah, I'm a Chris Hamilton fan. Admittedly, I've known Chris for a number of years now. Just through the open mic circuit and different venues, we, played shows together over the years, and very consummate professional. And I wanted to ask you for your songs. Did you record them? First off, where did you record your songs, and then where did you have them mixed?
Okay, that's a good question. So for this record, we did it. I did all the recording with John Marking at Studio 10.
Hey, John Marking, Studio 10.
Who did a great job, just a great job in his studio. It was recorded there. We mixed it there. I got it mastered by Andy Vendette in Engine Audio Studios up in New York.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Andy, who does a great job, he mastered some great records for... I think he redid all Rush's catalog. He did Beastie Boys stuff. I mean, just a good guy, just really good guy.
How did you hear about him? Through networking? Or?
So yeah, I met him. There was a mastering studio up in New York called Master Disc, which and I met some of the engineers up there, and I'd met Andy at one point years ago, and just liked him. Thought he was a good dude, and we were friends on Facebook. And then,
Facebook brings people together these days.
And then, I gave him a call. I said, hey, I'm ready to do some work. So, no, I mean, dude, really good guy. I mean, and I had some very bad mastering experiences before. I don't know if people I want to call out, but maybe I'll think about that. Maybe in this next segment, I'll start calling people out.
And for those...
And Andy was it was the opposite of it was a great experience, yeah.
For those beginner musicians who are listening in, how long did it take you to, 1, record the song, 2, write the song, kind of goes hand in hand, and 3, for mastering, how long does it take for that process?
How long should it take, or how long did it take me?
How long did it take you?
So I think, like, for these 4 songs, I think it took us about 4 years to record the whole process, which is, like, crazy.
Right.
I mean, like, and the only reason it took so long was my own...
particulars.
Part of it was that, but part of it was like I would just start doing something else. I was in other projects. I was working on other, I was literally working on a whole bunch of stuff. And then the record was really done for like 2 years. And I was like, I should probably put it out.
Oh, yeah.
So it's probably been about a 6-year kind of experience that we've had. Going through that whole thing.
How long did it take you to write each individual song? Like, does it all come to you in an inspired moment in one night, or do you get the music laid down first, or lyrics? What's your process? Because everyone's different.
Yeah,
I'm lyrics then music for me.
So normally it starts with like a hook or a something, right? So maybe it's Calling Sick and we'll both watch the sunrise, right? Maybe it's that, right? A melody and a hook. Calling Sick I pretty much wrote in a night.
It sounds like very inspired, so
yeah,
that makes sense.
I was and really, I mean, if you listen to the recording, a lot of it was based off the beat. Like I just composed the beat, and then it just came, right? And then later I sat down and wrote the lyrics to the verses. That takes me a long time. Like writing a hook will just come to me, and then I'll get like a hook and a melody, and then it's like I'll say, okay, how do I want the lyrics to work? And so that is like not like some people are like, well, I need to be inspired. That's not really the thing for me. I will sit down and like say, all right, now I have to write this song, and then I do it. Like and a lot of it like I'll come up with lyrics and like thoughts and like ideas. Like I'll write them in my phone. I used to have this notepad of paper, but now I have my.
Do you ever get? I get ideas for songwriting when I'm on long drives, and I'll either, now that I have a cell phone, I'll record the idea directly into the phone, or I used to handwrite it because I used to do movie reviews, so I'm used to handwriting while driving.
That's safe.
Yeah,
safe.
It's very very safe.
That like that's a good place. That would be, you know, while
so you
driving.
jot them down while you can.
Yeah, I'll
in the bathroom. A lot of people sometimes.
I'll record it. I'll record it. I mean, I've dreamt songs before.
Dreamt them.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's rare, but it's happened. Like that, it'll be a hook, an idea, and like part of it. Sometimes I won't write it down because sometimes I want to, like, if it's good, it'll come.
If it's good, it'll stay with you.
Now, that's kind of dumb, I think, but whatever. It's what I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
It makes sense.
20 hit songs.
If the song is going to haunt you, days after you've dreamt it, then I think it'll stick with other people too. Yeah.
So that's my process. But
so it can vary from same day to a month or two, or even a year to put a whole song together. Sometimes years, because you'll have this really good piece of music, but you can't quite find the right lyrics for it. Some people.
Well, it's more of like it's like I could if I just put the time into it, but it's like I'll write like the pieces of songs, and I'll be like, well, this is it, like, and it's like I know how the melody would go. Here's the hook, right? But and the lyrics go like this. This is the cadence of the lyrics.
Oh yeah.
But the actual words, I'll just do that later.
Yeah.
And then it might take me years.
Wow.
I mean, like, it'll just be there, and it'll be like, oh, and then I'll come back to it, like.
Now,
years.
You strike me as one of those musicians, and this is a good quality, that will
I feel
will
like
labor.
people say that right before they're about to insult you.
Somebody that will labor over a song to the point of, you know, just you're tired because you've gone over it so many times. So my question is for you: do you ever feel that any song is actually done and in the can? And then how long? At what point? Like, what about that song? What part of the song? Is it the music, the lyrics? Is it the sound? Is it just everything coming to that point of perfection? At what point do you feel the song is done and can be mixed and mastered?
See, this is not going to be an answer that you're going to like. Well, but it's like you just know.
You just know.
You just know.
No, that's good.
It's a dumb thing to say. But it's true. You just know.
You have to have that gut feeling in life.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, part of it is you just know. Like I'm looking at the verses and I'm like, okay. My songwriting friends, I say, hey, that's a zinger, right? If there's a couple good zingers in the in the verses, all right, cool. I mean, but there've been songs I've written complete and I'm like, it just sucks. It just sucks. It's not good. It's not good.
Now, talking about the recording process and the technical aspects, is there a particular tone that you like to use on your vocals that is like a go-to tone for you? Say, hey, can you use this, or is it changed song to song?
I think it definitely changes song to song. I mean, and there are guys that have like a sound that they want. Like I think of like My Morning Jacket's a good example, or Jim James, like he has that wash on his vocal that like permeates kind of what they do, and that's like his signature thing.
Right.
I've never wanted. The song tells me what I need to how I make it to sound. Whether it's what the guitar tone should sound like, what the bass tone should sound like, what the drum tone should sound like. You know, if there are, and what's the instrumentation?
That's what I was going to say. Like, for the guitars, every guitar can be plugged into a different amp, and your producer will have a plethora of amps to choose from digitally now because of how Pro Tools and other things are set up.
Yeah,
are there any amp tones that you prefer, like Fender or?
Well, yeah, there are a couple. I would say I do have, like, there are things that I love. Like, there's nothing, I say, and it's true. I believe that the song dictates what it needs to have, but there are certainly tones, like for a clean tone, like a Vox AC30.
I agree.
Beautiful.
Beatles, that's a great Beatles tone.
So that or a Fender Twin, you really can't beat either of those. For a dirty tone, like I love, and it's not the kind of music I really play. Like and if you know my music, we're not really shredding stuff, but like a Soldano, like an old, like I mean, like that's the '80s hair metal signature. That's Soldano amp, man. It's if we're talking about amps, and
sure.
And I'm not a real gearhead. Like there are guys that are like real guitar gearheads. That's not me. I mean, like, but there's times when you're like, hey, this song needs a Marshall. This song needs a Mesa. This song needs something else, right?
And you're a bassist who is singing and performing live. So you're playing bass and singing, which some people might not know. The bass, it's an interesting instrument to play while you're lead singing. I've done backup vocals and playing bass at the same time. It's like, whoa. There's Butterfly Boucher. She's a singer-songwriter from Australia.
Yeah, I know. Another White Dash. It's good.
Yes.
That's a real song right there.
Oh, I love her. I'm friends with her. She's down in Nashville. She's got
cool.
LA Macho.
I'm a fan.
I saw her open at Merriweather Post Pavilion, big venue here in the Maryland area, and they just celebrated 50th anniversary. And she opened for Sarah McLachlan. And I was like, wow, a girl singer, front woman, playing bass and singing at the same time. Like, I just thought that was different because you always see somebody playing lead or rhythm guitar as a front man.
I mean, outside of like Sting. I don't know. Sir Paul.
Yeah.
There we go, Sir Paul.
Have you ever played an upright bass?
No, I never have. It looks cool though.
It does look cool.
It looks cool.
Like the rockabilly guys, you can spin it around, dance on top of it.
There's a lot of, and there are probably songs that have like, they're expensive and I don't have one. Like that. That's sort of the limitation with me not playing upright bass.
Gotcha.
But outside of that, like, and I've never done it before. I've never learned how to play, but I'd love to learn how to play. So
when you're recording and you're going into the studio, is there anything that you do vocally to prepare? Do you drink certain kind of water or beverage? Do you,
Well, it's
exercise?
Funny. I should probably do more of that, huh? No, well, Meg, I try to, before I sing, like, if I have gigs, I mean, I drink a lot of green tea with honey, like a lot. Like, I'll try to, like, I was actually kicking myself today, like, so why didn't I drink, knowing that we were doing
on
this,
the show tonight,
yeah, I was like, I'm going to be singing tonight. Oh my God, I didn't drink any tea today. What am I doing? I'm going to sound terrible. Like, why I should cancel?
Yeah. Oh no. I'm so glad you.
I mean, it's not that serious, but like, the not your show. The tea. Yeah. The tea isn't that serious. But I'm like
green tea with honey.
Sometimes I'll have cans of it. So alcohol, conversely, like the opposite of that is any kind of beer or liquor. Like beer especially really hurts my throat.
And I've heard people say it can throw your pitch off without you realizing it too. Sometimes for some singers.
I drank like 12 or 13 of them, and but like outside of it won't throw my pitch off. It just my voice can't do what it wants to do. So now that doesn't mean it always stops me, because there have been many times that I've get tuned up before I play, but I generally try not to do that.
Well, that's great. I've learned a lot. I hope the people listening and tuning in online and at home have learned something. We're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll come back and talk more about the mixing process and more about Chris's new album, Persona Non Grata. Thank you for listening to Liner Notes Radio. We'll be right back. Okay.
Cool.
So let me see how we're doing online here. People still watching? Yes, people are still watching. Oh, my friend Pierre. Hey, Pierre. All right, let's see here. We're taking a quick break. Hi, Edward J. Neenan. Can we get the broadcast volume turned up? Oh, okay. Well, thanks for that. I'm going to turn our masters up now. Eddie Pants is watching. Hey, Jacob's watching. Oh, somebody said Hammy. That's nice. It's Mandy. Hi, Mandy. Welcome to the show. We're on a commercial break right now. Please stay tuned. Mandy tuned in. Yeah, we got all sorts of local Baltimore people tuning in.
She taught me how to sing.
She did. Did she teach you to drink green tea with honey?
No, she did not.
Check. Give me a test 1, 2 in that microphone there.
Why are you speaking in that voice?
Oh.
Why are you speaking in that weird voice?
Check. All right. I turned the master up a little bit just because the people at home on Facebook are having trouble listening in. Can you give me a check 1, 2?
Check.
All right. So
that's
sorry,
I wasn't really. I told you I was speaking to my mic and I'd stop.
No, it's okay. You only did it for like a half a second. I was watching, so.
Yeah.
It's
like smack me don't really smack me, because I'll get pissed. But like
no,
smack
we won't
me if I
do
do that again.
All right, so call in sick we just used.
Spill water on myself.
You want to do Emma?
Let's do.
I don't know which ones you're trying to push.
Emma and Call in Sick are the ones I'm trying to push, but.
I call him Hammy too.
Why? You sound like that creepy guy from Family Guy. You know the guy that like
an old man voice.
The old man that like tries to always hook up with the with Chris.
Oh, Chris lives in Erie, Pennsylvania. We got Erie, Pennsylvania tuning in right now. That's wonderful.
I'm trying to push Emma. Either.
So we'll use Emma, and how about this? We'll do 2 more segments, even though we've done 2 already.
Okay.
And then I can blend it in with some future shows. Maybe have a band come in.
Yeah.
And do 2 segments with us. That would be cool.
Sure.
So, how are we doing on time?
I don't know.
Are you okay on your meter? Okay, I'm good till 10:45.
Yeah, I'm good. I think I'm good till like.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I don't know why when you make that voice, it makes me irrationally angry. I'm not sure why.
Here at Hotel RL, we make sure we pay our
like a
parking
dog whistle.
meter. Trying to give people, trying to spice it up with some multicultural impressions, apparently.
What?
Oh, wait, we have a special guest assistant producer behind the scenes who remains unnamed, but perhaps you can guess who they are. Anything else you'd like to cover in the next segment or 2?
No, it's your show.
I'm doing pretty good?
Yeah.
This is,
I mean, I feel like Chris Hamilton. Is this good? Are you liking this? All right?
I love it, Chris Hamilton.
Let's,
and I pretty much covered the recording process pretty good. Because we're trying to give people tips on things and just get them to realize, this is what you have to do. So I might want to talk about some live performances a little bit more.
Sure. I've literally nothing booked.
Okay.
Other than rope ball.
No, that's okay. No, but it's about the experience of being on stage as a musician. So any other funny stories you might have to share, just you don't have to name names, but anything that comes to mind.
Give me some funny stories. It's like that was a tough one.
Or tragedies.
I mean, like nobody died.
Well,
some morphine that died.
Oh no, we don't need anything like that. Yeah, no, it's okay.
I mean, tragedies meaning
equipment bails out or things start crashing down.
Is that interesting to people? That happens all the time now.
Microphone. Not to everybody who plays.
Doesn't it? I mean,
maybe that comes with playing more frequently as you do.
I mean, maybe. I feel like.
Are you thinking of the dueling pianos? I didn't mention that. Do you want me to not mention that on this?
I mean, in the context of my life, that's the thing I do. I don't mind if we can talk about anything.
Okay.
But radiation puppy, that's not a radiation puppy thing. That's
sure, right. And that's okay. All right.
That's not. Yeah, that's.
So we'll do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I'll just say you can tell stories from any aspect of your performing over the years.
I've done a lot of different band, right? I mean, been a side man. I don't know.
No, it's okay.
Funny stories. Yeah, I mean, the other thing was the first class.
You might think of something while we're talking, so no pressure. I'm just trying to give you a couple of. I'm trying to cue you, things we might talk about.
Yeah.
And also, we didn't even cover musical inspirations, favorite bands.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
I mean, I can talk about music I listen to for hours.
Okay, good. That's great.
I feel like I don't listen to much good music lately.
Yeah. And you're free to say anything you want on here. Okay. All right. I'm gonna keep time with my watch over here.
Was this not helpful?
I didn't want to press Siri again, so that's why I didn't.
You just press it once and it comes up. Oh, but you gotta type my code in.
Right. Yeah, that's okay.
You want to play that again?
No, I didn't. It's okay. And if I just keep tapping it every so often, it'll stay up. But I'll have my clock as a background.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're gonna wrap our commercial break up.
What are we coming up?
Emma is the other one you want to.
I mean,
I'll say it. And you were just listening to Emma. Oh, but what do you want to play live?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Why don't we?
19 again, or Wait to Meet You Out. I can come back with one of them. 19 again, and then
Yeah, because I don't
Emma
want to play.
live.
I'll play Emma live. Yeah, I'll play Emma live. Do
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Liner Notes Radio, broadcasting live from Hotel RL in Baltimore, Maryland. We have a live studio audience, and they are wonderful to be joining us. My name is Meg B. I'm your host. Our other co-host is away for this episode. Her name's Michele McTierney. Tonight, we are joined by Chris Hamilton, who is the frontman and songwriter for Radiation Puppy. You can listen to their music online and check out upcoming dates at radiationpuppy.com. We just came back from break with their song off their new EP. It's called Wait to Meet You Out was the song, and the album is called Persona Non Grata. Hi, Chris. Welcome
Hi.
back to the show.
What's up, Meg?
So the song we just listened to, Wait to Meet You Out, Jacob Panic, a local banjo player, joined you
Yeah.
on that. And how did you get to know Jacob and figure he was the right person to play on that song?
Well, once I heard him play banjo, I figured he was the right person to play because he's amazing. He's absolutely, just a credible songwriter, great musician, all in all nice guy, and it needed banjo. The song.
What's the song talking? What's the history of the song? The story behind the
So
lyrics.
the story about the song is like that feeling of anticipation that you get, and of just seeing somebody that you haven't seen in a long time.
Oh, that's a good song.
Thank you. And in my personal life, I was talking to people that were in a couple different cities, and that's kind of where it came from, right? And just that anticipation of being able to.
Did you write that song while you were traveling?
Yeah.
You did? Do
Yeah.
you remember where you were?
I do. I was. So, and it's funny because there's a line in the song in a hotel room in Queens.
Ha!
So,
How apropos.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was. When I wrote most of it, but there were bits. Also, there are things that I do when I write songs. Like most of the song will be about one thing or one event, but there'll be other bits that might be pre-written or from somewhere else. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice when you can tie all your those one-liners that you've written, and you're like, what song can I plug this into? It's like Tetris of songwriting.
Yeah.
Where do you fit?
I do that often. Yeah, often.
And speaking of songwriting, when you were first starting out, or even today, what are some of your musical influences? Your first couple bands that really got under your skin, and you're like, wow, I want to do this, or I need to cover this song. I need to learn how to play it.
It's funny that I knew you would ask this, and I still don't have a good answer for it.
That's okay.
And I was like, yeah, we should definitely talk about that, huh? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll go through. Maybe I'll make this a long answer. Growing up, I listened to, when I was in middle school, a lot of hip hop, and then I liked a lot of modern rock and things like that.
Hip hop and modern rock.
So
it
went from that to that, from, I guess, Biggie to
Now Tupac?
No, I didn't like. Surprising, I like Tupac now. I really respect
East
Tupac
Coast
now. But it was
represent.
never.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't much for Tupac. And then, really from there, into a lot of the modern rock, U2, Peter Gabriel, Pearl Jam. I love my all-time, probably still my all-time favorite band was Catherine Wheel. They were great. So I got into shoegaze, My Bloody Valentine. I loved Smashing Pumpkins. Was huge into them. Was into The Cure, into Depeche Mode. Hearing some buzzing here.
I hear it. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see.
Maybe it might be my mic.
Oh,
There we go.
You got it?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. And then I guess it just started branching out. That after that was really classic rock. Pink Floyd. I loved Pink Floyd growing up. I loved.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
Here, go ahead.
Yeah. And then old school R&B. So that's what I listen to now. I feel like I'm in a lot of situations where I play covers. I play the top 40 covers and stuff like that. So in addition to my original band, because there's you're always like constantly. I'm a person that constantly have to make music. So
Yeah, we wanted to talk about live performance. What's the one or two most requested songs
when I
for
do
covers?
When I do request songs.
Is it Freebird? Is it really Freebird, or that's just a joke? At this
that's something
point?
that people shout. I don't think anybody really wants to hear it. I mean, I play in piano bars, so like when you're playing piano, like it's Piano Man. It's like Elton John.
Yeah.
I don't know. It really depends. Like depends on the crowd. It depends on like if you're playing to a bunch of old people. Define old people, but like you're like it's like I don't know. It's a different kind of set. Like there's classic rock or something like that. Like I'll play some Stones, right? And then conversely, if you're playing to a younger crowd, then it's more like it's not even like maybe it's current top 40 Taylor Swift, stuff like that, or maybe it's
on the flip
play.
side. What's your favorite song to cover? Is there one that you can play and it never gets old?
No, not really.
You do you just hit that point on some songs.
Yeah, you hit a bit. Yeah. So here's the weird thing. There's songs that I love to play that I hate to listen to, and there's songs that I love to listen to that I hate to play.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you love about the songs?
Sometimes it's like fun to hit. It's fun the way I don't know. It might be challenging. There might be a part that's challenging. There might be
a rundown on the piano.
Yeah, there's
area.
something there, or like a cool drum fill, or there's like something about it that's fun. Maybe a good fun vocal note to sing. But then conversely, if I listen to the original version, it's just awful, or like I just don't like it. I'll give you two examples. I'll give you an example in both ways. I was a song that I love, but hated playing was a song called Soul Bones by the Tramps.
Oh, wow.
Which was like a cool song. It's like a really good groove, and I played bass on it, but the bass line does not change. It's just so repetitive. I'm going to give you the other side. I guess I was in college, and I was playing, like I did the summer, just playing a couple gigs in this cover band, and they used to play Cheeseburger in Paradise, which I find repulsive. I find Jimmy Buffett, hey, he's a great marketing guy,
right.
But I mean, like, that's not real music. I'm sorry, that's not real music. But like, I was playing drums. It was just this fun drum fill, right? And then you break down. You're like, I like mine. I don't know. It was like, and there was like a lot of fun fills. It was like, this was a super fun song to play.
Sure.
But I absolutely hate listening to it. So I don't know. I could probably give you a list of like tons of songs that are.
Are there any bands that after the audience listens to Radiation Puppy play live, that they say, hey, you remind me of this one song or this one band? Any kind of people commenting like that?
Yeah, and it's always very strange what people say, and I'm like, really? So I had a reporter from the Baltimore Sun tell me that he thought my music reminded him of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, wow.
And
is that a compliment for you?
It's like I knew he listened to my songs, so it was like I thought he was confusing me with somebody else. Like it's not like a compliment or an insult. It's like that's not what we sound like, though.
Do you think that people, when they say that, hey, you remind me of, that they're tuning into one element, whether it's like the way your voice sounded in this one part, or the way your song sounded in this one part, the guitar riff or the tone? I think sometimes people tune into a tiny part, and then that's why they say that. Maybe,
but like saying something like that is like, hey, Chris Hamilton, you kind of look like Denzel Washington. I don't look like him. Like, right. You kind of look like Helen Mirren in a way. Like, I don't look like her. Like so it's, like, cool, I guess. Is that a good thing? I don't know.
Besides Red Hot Chili Peppers, any other bands that people have shouted out?
So once I had somebody, it was a friend of mine. I was like, hey, I want you to listen to this album. And he said, actually, and I listened to a couple of my songs, and he's like, what you remind me of is Matthew Sweet, which was like, to me was a huge compliment, because I'm a huge fan. And I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. And he's like, I hate Matthew Sweet. I hate his music. That's what he told me. I was like, okay, so you meant it as an insult, but that's cool.
But to you, it was a compliment.
To me, that was,
Oh, that's really funny. Oh my goodness. Well, so you mentioned that you you play with Radiation Puppy, and then occasionally you play solo gigs. Depends on the venue. You've done dueling piano work. Any war stories from the dueling piano circuit? Like, how is the crowd on the dueling pianos? Because part of
I play a bunch of different venues. So
Yeah.
I play some places that have a very young crowd, which is it's hilarious.
you feed off the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, and I play some places that have a very, very old crowd, which
Very-
is like
kind of more
very
reserved.
very different. And I like that less. So, but no, it's I play a lot of. I feel like I've had the blessing to play a lot of different kind of crowds. I mean, just different kinds of music. Like I played gospel. I played R&B.
Have you ever played any weddings or special occasions for people?
I generally try not to do that.
Yeah. I've DJ'd weddings, but I haven't.
Yeah.
You know.
I've actually turned down a bunch of weddings. I just don't like to. I actually, now that I think about it, I think I might have played a wedding. Now that I'm like, I said no, and I'm like,
It's okay. You've been playing
actually,
for some years.
I've played a couple weddings. Now that I think about it,
Uh-huh.
but they were kind of non-traditional, and they were kind of. It wasn't like, hey, I want you to. These are the songs, like a traditional wedding band. That's not my thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I mean, hey, if you're broke, you do it. You do what you need to do, right? But I'm not broke right now, so. I guess I don't have to do that. When I'm broke, then I'll play some weddings.
Have you ever, for the CD process, have you ever done a Kickstarter campaign to raise money?
No,
Yeah.
I never did. I've seen that. It works for some people. I've certainly contributed to Kickstarter campaigns. I thought they were. It's a cool thing. I don't know. I don't know.
And then as far as
I'm trying to give you more for that question,
it's
but I'm
okay.
like kind of new. Like I know a lot of people use Patreon. I've read things back and forth about like we talk about is this the way like HuffPost came out with this big article that they did. I had to be about 2 years ago in terms of. I believe they're part of the founders of that.
Sure.
And there was a lot of controversy about this article because generally what it said was like, look, it costs us so much money to tour, it's not worth it, so we need to do this. And which my general feeling is there's ways to do it right. I mean, but it's tough. I mean, if your goal is to make a living as a musician, it's possible, but it's difficult, and it's.
And what you put into it is what you get back, to a point. As far as
no, man, what you put into it is 10 times more than you'll ever get back. 100 times more than you'll ever get back.
That's what people need to know.
Yeah, I mean that's the truth. Like if you want to do anything else, I mean I don't want to talk people out of being a musician,
Right.
but like.
Well, no, a lot of time is spent booking gigs. You've got your social media presence that you have to maintain and keep people interested, and market your product. There's a lot that goes into it.
I mean, part of it is you need a team. You need to find the right team, and that's challenging, right? And you can get derailed. I mean, if you get hooked up with the wrong people, it's worse.
Have you ever gone through booking agents or managers for your band?
Yeah, I mean that's been a constant. Plenty of booking agents. There were times where we dealt with different people on the management scale. There were times where I was actively looking for a better management. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean,
and then for managers, are you looking for somebody that's got multi-state connections or just local connections?
I guess it depends. Or are you asking for me at the time? And this is not now, but this was years ago. I was looking for people that had multi-state connections. I wanted people that would really manage my career because I just didn't have time to. Like I didn't have the. Right. I wanted to focus on making music.
Right. Because now, as we know, the recording process can take a few years sometimes.
Well,
sometimes.
It for me it took me that, but I mean I think how long should it take or could it take if you focus on it? I mean I guess it really depends. I mean you look at if you're trying to I want to get a quick demo. It depends on the kind of band you are, right? If you're a garage rock band, you could probably you could record a double album in a weekend, right? Then Bon Iver, not his last album, the album before, the self-titled Bon Iver. Like, I mean, he spent 2 years in a cabin making that record. Like, and it's beautiful, and it's because he did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then of course, I think you can make a record in your garage. It's also beautiful because you did that. So I think it
and then
depends
you've
on who you are.
You got people like Ray LaMontagne. He quit his factory job and went off to a cabin in the woods to teach himself guitar, and then came out with some incredible songs from the Trouble album.
Yeah, I mean, and there's I mean, he has an amazing voice. That
I agree.
And he's written some amazing songs.
Is Bon Iver one of your musical influences, or somebody in the modern stage that you respect?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Him and his wife too. Kathleen Edwards is great. But I mean, that record was that album was like I guess it's at this point like when did they come out? 2011 maybe.
Yeah,
that's
a few
probably
years
like
ago.
6 years old at this point. But that was, I mean, the last album that I really remember really loving beginning to end. Like I was like, this is just brilliant beginning to end.
That's saying something too. When you can listen to it from beginning to end.
But therein lies the problem with now is like who listens to albums
People
anymore.
listen to singles a lot because of iTunes.
There's
correct.
no I mean I think iTunes is even on it. That's a tail end. That's a dead thing. I mean people listen to music. I think YouTube or Spotify. I mean that's where people listen to music.
Yeah.
Pandora, internet radio, right? I mean those are the places which don't allow you to really. I mean you can listen to a whole album on Spotify, but I don't think generally people do.
Sure.
I mean you need to pay for it to do that. In Spotify, you make like a tenth of a penny. So there's no economy. So this is the problem that we have with music that I believe, and we haven't created an economy to make music. So it's almost like I think of it like the 1600s or 1500s, right? Where like a composer, like somebody like Mozart, or even prior to that. I mean, Mozart was in the 1700s, but like essentially. These what we quote unquote call classical composers. I mean, a lot of that was essentially work for hire, right?
Yeah.
Somebody, I'm paying you to write a symphony, right? Maybe it's a religious thing, maybe. So the church is paying you to write something. That was what happened, and that's
so they'd have wealthy benefactors who would invest in their music.
Exactly, and that's what I think we're reverting to because the mass people aren't buying a 45, or they're not even buying a single. They're just listening to it so I mean I think it's about licensing, like that. How do you make money playing music? Like how do you make money?
A lot of acts make the money off the tour rather than their music.
Yeah, but that means you got to constantly tour, right? And a tour, which was typically a losing money thing for a band, it now has to be a making money thing for a band,
right?
But that means you got to be completely independent too, because if you're hooked up with a record label, they're taking pieces of everything. So it's this strange economy. We don't have there's not a good way. Like I'm still trying to hear the answer. Like, and there are a lot of people that are famous that are broke. Like that's the other thing that's hilarious. They're like, oh, well, these people, because I know their names.
They must be doing great. Yeah,
they're broke.
You'd think we could have a music conference and bring in some of the big names and the small names and come together and kind of come up with an equation that works to kind of revitalize the business.
But it works different for the big names because if I have a huge fan base because of how things were in the 90s or in the early 2000s, right? I have a fan base built in, so I can afford to cut ties with my label and just make music, right? I can make music. I can be
Amy
completely...
Mann did that. She went independent.
She's a perfect example, right? That she doesn't need a record. She doesn't need Columbia Records, right? She'll have a couple less fans, maybe not. I mean, like she's not... She didn't want people telling her how and what to write, and she was one of the first to actually be environmentally friendly and use cardboard sleeves instead of the plastic cases. But she has a built-in fan base. She's a great songwriter. She'll always have a built-in fan base, right? I mean,
I saw her play Record Theater. She was amazing.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
I loved playing Record Theater. It was a fun place to play. It's a fun venue, but we're losing venues too, especially in this city. So
that's the other thing is appreciating the live performance on the local level. But we're going to wrap up this segment real quick, and we'll be right back with more with Chris Hamilton on Liner Notes Radio. I'm Meg B. Stay tuned, and thank you for listening live from Hotel RL in Baltimore.
All right, I gotta use that.
Yep. All right, that's good.
Perfect time.
All right, for everybody watching online on Facebook, please stay tuned. Thank you to our live studio audience here. We started back in August, and if you are in town on Wednesdays, there's a calendar. We have a singer-songwriter showcase that Michele McTierney, my wonderful co-host who couldn't be with us tonight, she hosts the singer-songwriter things. My name's Meg B. I play music here in the Baltimore area. We have Chris plays with a band called Radiation Puppy, which if you've been listening, you can find him online. And where are you guys visiting us from? Seattle. That's cool. So are you a Hendrix fan by default? Sure, yeah. Oh, no, that's great. Gosh, I wonder if we were set up. Yeah, we're going to probably be recording one more 15-minute segment here, and Chris is going to play. He brought his guitar. He's going to play one of his songs. He's got really catchy songs, so I think you guys will enjoy it. And then you can tune in online to download his songs if you like them. And but yeah, no, this is a great venue. How long are you in town for? Till Friday. That's wonderful. Are you here for a conference or? Yeah, I just got back from LA. I was at a conference in LA, and I was staying in Santa Monica. So as far as, have you explored the Inner Harbor area? Not yet? Okay. Yeah, we got the USS Constellation, Science Center, all that fun stuff. So here at Liner Notes Radio, we want to make sure everyone enjoys the Baltimore experience. And Hotel RL, I love, they have bikes available here.
Fans away. What's going on?
No, they got your name. I told them where to tune in and download Chris Hamilton's music. But yeah, no, this is a nice place. Got a nice bar, restaurant, and everything. Thank you, Hotel RL. Hello to those watching from the hotel itself and everybody on Facebook. So we're going to come back. Let me see here. Yeah, we're going to do one more. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll plug 19 in again, as we'll say we're coming back from break on.
All right, yeah.
And then you can play Emma live. Do you want to start off with that, or you want to end the show with Emma?
We'll end the show.
I think that's nice.
Yeah, we'll end the show. All right, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess.
Well, then we got to figure out. Have we figured out the logistics?
Oh yeah. Let me get you a stool that. And
Well,
I
like
can
maybe
adjust that.
Well, I tell you what. Like, do you want to cut away and then I can just stand up and just regular play it? Yeah.
If you don't want to sit and do it. Yeah. So let me see.
Well, there we go. Well, that's the thing. We'll just cut out, set up. We'll cut out, set up, and do that.
Okay.
Let's. Huh? Yeah. Meg. Yeah.
I'm just gonna set it up real quick. I've got an extra mic.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to introduce him?
Well, yeah. Let's
Sorry, we're setting up.
Yeah. Let's do the.
Okay. So we're gonna record. We're gonna mic you acoustically for your guitar, right? I think.
We can't move that yet.
I'm not gonna move that. Yeah, I just saw that was there. So.
Why don't we do the thing that we suggested earlier?
Let's do that.
I don't want to move it.
Yeah, that's fine. Because then I have.
That's a good idea.
This is the beauty of the
All
editing and
ideas as long as they're
post
mine.
production.
Okay, I hope so.
Right. There is a bar right around the corner, right there.
All right. We're
Okay, so
tuned up tonight.
So I'll just maybe I'll touch more on some of the mixing process, and then
Okay.
is there anything else that you would like to talk about? If not, I'll just go back to my standard questions.
No, this is good. Was this good?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Is there any recommendations? So we try to pick a topic for each week, but without having Michele here and our other people here, I kind of am changing it up. But I kind of think it's really important. Do you have any tips for people as far as time management goes with the music?
That was
Do you make your yourself take the time to practice or write, or do you just go with the flow and do it an inspired kind of format? Because you do work.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is no, I don't. I mean, but that's my biggest weakness. of my.
Yeah. So
And
it's like taking commercial.
Well, that's the thing. You have your quarter inch to that, so I'll just
Let me plug that.
yeah.
I'll make sure that channel is popped up on the thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's super long too.
That's what she said.
Oh. But thank you for having me, Meg. This is really cool.
Oh no.
Is that the right kind of end? Is that
Yeah.
it's a male XLR, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this place is great. Like they have the basics here for a show, like the basics. But if you bring, like Michelle usually she brings a drum kit.
Oh, do you play full kit here?
Oh yeah.
Like, really? This is a cool spot.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. All right, so you gonna plug it in right now, or is it gonna?
It's gonna
be sitting
yeah. Let's leave it like for now.
That's fine.
But is that live? Well, it's not live yet. I can tell.
All right, so I just plugged it into 4. So let me make sure 4.
Do you hear it? No.
Yeah, it's blinking.
It is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna turn 4 down all the way, and then before you start to play, I'll turn it on.
Okay. Cool.
Don't worry, and anything I can edit later. Make
Yeah.
sure it sounds great. Which is already sounding great.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get back to about 5 to 10 minutes talk, and
Okay.
we'll have you
All right. Cool.
do Emma, and that'll be like the last thing. So as soon as you're done playing, you can say thank you.
Okay.
And then I'll be like, thank you for listening. And then at the very end of that, I'm going to have you just record very loudly, say,
Oh, bumpers. Okay.
yeah, like a bump, like, hi, this is Chris Hamilton, and you're listening to Liner Notes Radio. Yeah, like with
bumps.
big
Yeah, I'm
mic
good with
again.
bumps. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. So let's see. 3, 2, 1. Hi, welcome back to Liner Notes Radio, broadcasting live from Hotel RL in Baltimore, Maryland. My name is Meg B, and I'm your host for tonight. Our co-host, Michele McTierney, is away at the moment. We're being joined by a wonderful guest. His name is Chris Hamilton, and he is the frontman and songwriter for Radiation Puppy. We're listening before the on our way back from the break. We were listening to 19 again, which is one of the songs off of Persona Non Grata. And Chris, what was 19 again about? Like, what's the story behind that song?
So the story about that is I live my life right now, and I knew what I wanted my life to be at 19. And I think there's this time that passes, and in that time there's this apathy that builds. And am I just this apathetic person that lives through a day to day, as opposed to this, I don't know, idealistic Che Guevara type that I thought I would be when I had flowing locks of hair?
So it's reality versus the dream.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Oh no, it's okay. Why not? It's all right. Yeah. Are we still?
No, it's
yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Until
Yeah. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go.
Shit. Give me a beer. You want
Our
a beer?
producers are wonderful. No, I'm fine. I must make sure.
See, this is why the live performance is going to be bad. I told you when I drink beer, it doesn't sound good.
Oh, it's just one.
I could feel my voice closing up.
So for 19 again, how long did that take to record? Any kind of special instruments that were involved on that song?
Yeah, actually, special instruments. But yeah, we did have. So I feel like almost every song. So the recording of the songs, all the songs on the EP, I pretty much did entirely myself. But I had almost like 1 to 2 special guests on each song, just because the songs needed it, or I just didn't like how I was performing something. It wasn't like a purposeful thing. It wasn't like Chris Hamilton and Friends.
Right.
But
you wanted the quality of the song to be the best it could be.
Yeah, Jamie Roosing is actually playing alto sax on that. Amazing part.
Hey.
Amazing. Yeah.
Hey Jamie, how you doing?
Yeah.
Old friend.
Great bird. Just showed up and killed it. He's on the alto sax on that you just heard.
Nice. That's wonderful.
We didn't hear it here, so that's why. forgot that everybody just listened to it and didn't realize that there was a sax in there. It wasn't me playing.
That's great. And then you mentioned you had Jacob Panic on banjo.
Yeah.
So it's there's 4 songs on the album, but it seems to cover a lot and a lot of good stories that you're trying to tell.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. For Radiation Puppy, when you guys first started playing, do you remember one of the first places you played out in the Baltimore area?
I mean, so actually I do. Our first show as Radiation Puppy, right? Because we were Playground, and then we kind of morphed into was the illustrious. I mean, really, this was like one of the top rooms in Baltimore at the time.
Okay.
It was Hal Daddy's.
Hal Daddy's. Where's Hal Daddy's? Like downtown Baltimore?
Hal Daddy's was in Highlandtown.
Highlandtown.
Hal Daddy's is a wonderful place. It was almost like in the basement of this bar in Highlandtown, right on.
Was it all ages?
I don't think so. It might have been. I don't think they really cared.
Yeah.
So it might have been. But it was a basement, and at first there was no stage, and they were like, well, they wanted to make a stage. They dug out the like pretty much it lower, so they lowered it. And then there was like all kinds of leaking and flooding. It was a great place. It was a great place. I remember playing this gig once, and the mics would always shock you.
I was going to say, did you get shocked?
Oh,
I've been
tons of times.
shocked.
Yeah, tons of times. Nothing was grounded there.
Were you ever shocked to the point you couldn't play? Because that happened to me one time.
No.
Couldn't feel my arm for like a couple hours.
God, wow.
I put my hand over the mic to say something off mic. Yeah. And I was playing my Beatle band friends' vintage Gretsch. And it just, something about me touching the strings and the mic, it just zapped me. For about an hour or two, I couldn't feel my hand.
Oh, my God. Wow. Wow. I've never had that. I mean, I'm real conscious of that, though. Like, I normally play with, even looking at this mic, it doesn't have a little guy on it.
The little clown nose.
A little, mic condom over the top of it to,
right.
to protect me. But, yeah, I hate that. Actually, where we... we practiced in my house, but my house was built in 1900, and I think things aren't quite grounded right in my house, and also with the PA that I have. So I have a cheap PA, and so sometimes we practice. I feel bad. Mandy gets shocked all the time.
Aw.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's another thing to think about is practice space once you've reached the level of having a band.
Yeah.
Did you ever rent a practice space?
Yep. We used to rent over in the place that just got shut down in West Baltimore. What was it called? It was called Studio 14, right? Yeah, and then they owned it.
From Studio 14 to Studio 10, yeah. Chris Hamilton's.
It was funny. Yeah, I would always get that confused too because it was right. I was actually renting a space there right when I was recording the record, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say they probably need more creative names. I'm just making fun of John there.
Aw. Well, 10's actually my favorite number, so I like Studio 10. Yeah. Shout out again to John Marking for his assistance in making Persona Non Grata a reality.
Working with John was great. I mean, it was a really great experience. So.
And then the mixing process. You were saying we touched on this before, but we didn't go into the details. How long did it take you to mix this EP? Like per song, you could just say a song took about.
So the process of this, I can tell you in records I've done in the past, right? It's tracking, then mixing, then mastering, right? And typically I'm tracking, all right, so I've recorded records in a couple of different ways, but in this way, how we did was, we would, this was really so arduous. So John and I would mix these songs, right? We would mix them, and then we'd go back, and we'd remix them, and then I would...
So you'd listen to that version of it, make notes, go back and tweak, right?
I would do a lot of tweaking. John was like, look, it sounds good, and we're like, no, it doesn't. Like, I was a pain. I was a pain.
Sure. But it means you care about your music and your sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's... And then I'd come up with another idea. I'd say, hey, you know what? Let's re-record this guitar tone. So then the whole mix is scrapped if I'm tracking something new. So, I don't... I don't know if that's how my process is always going to be, but that's how this was to make. This was very different. In the past, it's been tracking, mixing, done, and it's like you're done tracking, now you're ready to mix.
And then you send it off to somebody to master.
Yeah.
And that was the person in New York?
Yeah, Andy Vendette. And I've had some very negative mastering experiences in the past. There was a guy in Vermont that did one of our first records who I thought was a clown, man. It was a clown. So Andy did a great job. I would definitely recommend him. He was Engine Room Studios. I'm not sure if he's going by his own name, Andy Vendette Studios, but you know.
Shout out to Andy.
If somebody finds me on Radiation Puppy, if anybody's interested, I'll definitely recommend. Definitely recommend him. He did a great job.
Now, one of my favorite songs off of your album, which you can find at radiationpuppy.com, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, etc., is Emma. It's a song called Emma, and Chris is going to play it for us in studio here, coming up in a minute or two. But what's your inspiration for Emma? What's the story behind the song?
So let me talk. I'll give you two little tidbits. I'll tell you the story behind the song, and then I'll tell you the story behind the title.
Okay.
So the story behind the song was really just dating somebody, and you're like a little bit being used and a little bit not. I mean, like, come on here. Where do I stand here? What's going on in this relationship?
Sure.
But I thought of the title before I thought of the song, and I had this idea of when I was in high school, there were a whole bunch of really cool bands, right? And I was high school and early college, and I thought, I was like, I'd love to make a record. And the songs don't have to be about the bands, but they should have the titles of all these bands. Like, all right, this song is called Compulsive Behavior. This song is called TBR. This song is called 601.
Sure.
It would all like...
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And I was like, cool, Emma, being one of those bands, I was like, that I was awesome back in the day. It was one of the really... just awesome Hamilton bands.
Did Emma play at Hal Daddy's?
Probably. Everybody played at Hal Daddy's. It occurred to me, and I was like, okay, cool. And so I was like, this will be the song that's called Emma, and I never made any of those other songs. So,
wow.
Yeah, I feel bad about those other guys.
So that's the story behind the title, and And for Emma, and you already touched on what Emma is about. So
I did.
Yes. So now we're going to take a moment and set Chris up to play an acoustic version here live at Hotel RL of Emma.
Awesome. All right, so now we actually do. Yeah, shoot your thing on. You can put me on a real mic stand, right?
Yeah. Where's the second mic? Oh, it's right there. Okay, yeah. All right, and give me 1 second. Stand just to the left so I can record that for Tim. And then, what do you want me to say, Tim? Hold on, Facebook. We'll be right back with you. So, and now Chris Hamilton playing Emma.
Clean, right?
No, yeah, if you have a clean version of it, that would be preferable. Yes.
Personal opinion, I think you should just curse every word instead of maybe. My personal opinion, you should say from his new album title
Persona non grata.
like don't say welcome back anytime, just say or say now from his new EP Persona non grata.
Chris Hamilton performing Emma. Okay. All right. Yeah, I gotcha. All right. We're going to do a couple takes real quick. Oh, no. Yeah. Tim's going to record me introducing you for his film. Yeah. Oh, I got it. Hat or no hat? Okay.
Action.
And now, here to perform a song from his latest EP, Persona Non Grata, is Chris Hamilton performing Emma live.
Can we say Chris Hamilton of Radiation Puppy?
All right, yeah, we want to do a second one? Yeah. Take two. Mm-hmm. And now, performing a song off his latest EP is Chris Hamilton of Radiation Puppy, performing Emma from Persona Non Grata. Is that okay with you?
Less accent.
All right, let's set Chris up to perform live online for us.
Check. Oh. I like this mic stand, even though it's not really functional right now. But I'm good here. Here's what I need. Check. It's wicked when you're alone. The women's wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down, when you're strange. Places come out of the rain. We're not getting any guitar.
Sorry, yeah, I've turned 4 up and 3 up too. I have to mic you too, just in case. Do that as a background.
Are we? Yeah.
I'm gonna personally film you.
I got a preamp here, so I should be rocking good. Like in the preamp, so. Yeah, why don't you pop me in another channel then? Could be the chord too. Oh, I wish that other guy was still here. I'm sure he has a patch chord. Huh? No, the guy that was in that band that was playing before. Did you hear those? They were really good. They did like one song. They're like, "Oh, we're sorry." I was like, "You guys are amazing." Something.
That's the microphone.
Check, check, check. Probably want to be a little that way. Yeah, yeah, it's coming through. Cool.
Okay. I'm gonna
corporate today.
film. Yeah.
Told me I was going to be on the camera today.
Oh, I had to take apart the stand, so I got it. Is it still live? Oh, is there a way to make it live? Well, we'll just go live again for this part. Yeah. Okay. I want to get a recording of this. Are you going to do a recording? Okay. Well, I'll just do one as backup.
What?
You don't want this part? Oh, you're going to be running around? Oh, okay. All right, then I'm going to record the audio. I'm going to record the audio on my phone, so it won't be on Facebook. So, I'm just doing voice recorder. Yes, you will be on my song. Yeah, I gotcha.
I'll still be loving you.
Okay. Yeah.
Oceans flow to the sea. It'll still be you and me.
Okay, all right. So you see me coming from the stage right by here? Uh-huh. Right there. So basically the edge of this over. You're out of the shot. Yep.
No, I'm gonna be.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so where are you picking me up now? I'm on there now? So behind this line. Can you remember that? And on the outside edge of that custom right there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to record me saying, I'll introduce you. Okay? Okay.
Check.
Hold on one second. We're recording radio program.
Okay. The pumpkin. Put it in my mouth.
What do you need? Oh, for the mic? What if you clipped it onto the stand that he's on now? Oh, yeah, that'll work. It's like Hershey Park. The rocks are singing. Only this time they're recording. That's perfect. Perfecto. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, and imagine they sing the tunes in the coach corridor, and I can't help to pretend. Oh, that's not it. Time in with a haven't you people ever heard of? We're not gonna do that. Emma, won't you ever fall asleep? Emma, won't you ever fall asleep? Oh, I need water.
So, no, well, that's so Tim's mic needs to back up a little bit. There you go.
Can we try it again?
The talent has left the stage.
Can we do it?
Are you going to sing it? Oh, this is hilarious.
Oh, no, he's coming. Can we do it again, Chris? Here we go. Can we turn it down a little?
Yeah.
Check, yeah. Probably better. We go. With your black pants, subtle lies and cigarettes, I always wondered what you'd say when I would show. But scripting it inside my mind, I guess I ought to have known. Now I'm mustering my courage, and I'm waiting for a... Is it just for you that to record? Because I could I can fill this whole room without a microphone. Like,
I just clicked you down 2 more by a little bit.
It's for this microphone here, so it's getting that speaker right there.
Okay. Check. But we're trying to get me on some other mic, or?
I'm going to do a separate recording over here, just off my phone.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah, you don't even need to mic me for that.
Yeah.
I'm loud enough that I can play the song without all this.
This is good. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectionist.
All right, more. I gotta see you when I come home. I hope to see you. Save some pictures. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm like,
as soon as I say action, then you can go.
Okay. All right. So on my end, 3, 2, 1. Hi, welcome back to Liner Notes Radio. My name is Meg B, and we have with us in studio Chris Hamilton, leader of Radiation Puppy. You can check them out online at radiationpuppy.com. It's a wonderful band, and they have a new EP out. It's called Persona Non Grata. And Chris is going to share one of his songs off of that called Emma. Here is Chris Hamilton performing Emma.
baby, patch your floorboards up, 'cause I'm not sure where we stand. And you must have broken all your fingers too, 'cause you also broke your plans. Well, darling, I need more than some clothes you forgot here and a spare toothbrush from my crib. But then you call me on Friday at 2 a.m., so I'm never really certain what to think. Tough fighting in this war of attrition, trying hard just to overcome your women's intuition. And though I'm not quite sure exactly what we've been missing, if you want to hear my side, just give this song a listen when I say, Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Well, I'm the guy who puts the raincoat on but still gets soaking wet, and all the while you've locked the door and cranked the television set. Maybe I'm in love with you but simply managed to forget. Maybe you're in love with me but you just don't know yet. To keep writing all your poetry and hedging all your bets, it'll all work out, you'll see. 'Cause I know you'll find a good man one of these days, but I'm damn sure that he's not me. Mixed signals are scans to your world, and you stare something like a dagger while I'm swallowing a pearl. Keep practicing your pal to keep twirling on your curls, and I won't blame it on the booze when I go home with another girl. Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Maybe if you shut your eyes, take a deep breath and lie in bed, there'll be 8 or 9 hours in your pretty little life that you won't spend with my head. Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Emma, 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 won't you ever, ever, ever fall asleep? Woo. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Liner.